And a teacher set to testify in the trial of a former Uvalde police officer. Prosecutors allege Adrian Gonzales endangered dozens of students by failing to quickly confront the shooter who killed 19 students and 2 teachers. Gonzales has pleaded not guilty, and his lawyers argue he did all he could to help students that day. And now jurors will hear from a teacher who lost 11 students in that shooting. Our Peter Haralambous is at the courthouse in Corpus Christi, Texas, with more. And Peter, so far the jury has heard from 10 witnesses, but none have explicitly mentioned Gonzales during their testimony, or very few, if any. So how significant is that to this case? How is the prosecution going to get there?
Yeah, that's exactly right, because the big question in this case is why only 2 police officers, Adrian Gonzales and Pete Arredondo, were charged in this, when we know that nearly 400 police officers responded to Robb Elementary that tragic day. They need to point out specific evidence about how, in this case, Gonzales was negligent in their duties. And when you look at some of the testimony so far, this in many ways sounds like a trial for a murderer, for the shooter, who in this case is dead, not necessarily a police officer who was allegedly negligent in their duties. All of the testimony thus far, in a way, has pointed to how traumatic, how terrible that day was. Specifically, we've heard from 4 teachers pointing to the harm that was created by this alleged inaction, though we really haven't heard that much about Gonzales' specific actions that day.
So what are you watching for today, Peter?
Yeah, so right now we're beginning with testimony from a former Texas Ranger who investigated the crime scene after the fact. They're going through with very specific detail about where they found shell casings. At times it's a bit monotonous testimony, but it's vital because those shell casings really will tell us where the shooter was at specific moments and allegedly how close he was to Adrian Gonzales. So that testimony, though very technical, is vital to this prosecution case. We're also here waiting to hear from more teachers, really deeply emotional testimony here about the effort to call 911 to get help that day and the terrible long response that came as they waited 77 minutes for police to finally barge in and take out the gunman here.
All right, Peter Haralambous in Corpus Christi, Texas. Thank you.